What is true happiness? Stoicism has the answer. Have you ever wondered why, even after achieving everything you wanted, you still feel like something is missing? The kind of happiness we're sold is always out of reach. More money, more likes, more accomplishments. You chase, strive, succeed, and still the emptiness lingers. What's going on? Maybe we're looking in the wrong place. The Stoics, philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, discovered something revolutionary. Happiness doesn't depend on what happens outside, but on what we cultivate within. They lived through wars, loss, betrayal, yet found serenity where most would find despair. They didn't believe in magic formulas, but in grounded principles. Today you'll discover 10 Stoic insights that can transform how you view life, emotions, and fulfillment. And no, you don't need to become a philosopher to apply them, just someone willing to reflect. If something inside you feels there's a wiser, calmer way to live, this video is for you. Stay with me until the end. 1. Happiness is about mastering yourself, not what's outside of you. Epictetus, once a slave-turned-philosopher, said, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about them." Think about that. You can't control traffic, the weather, or what people say, but you can control how you respond. That idea might sound simple, but it's revolutionary. Most people spend their lives trying to control what's uncontrollable, and when the world doesn't cooperate, suffering follows. The Stoic path to happiness begins by shifting focus. Act where you have power, accept what you can't change. That shift is freeing. You stop fighting reality and start mastering yourself. When you own your thoughts, reactions, and emotions, no one can rob you of your peace. This isn't passivity, it's inner strength. A Stoic aims for excellence in action, not perfection in outcomes. True happiness begins when you realize the outside world is unstable, but your inner world can be unshakable. 2. Want less, live more. We live in an age that thrives on endless desire. There's always something missing: a better car, a perfect body, a promotion, the latest phone. But nearly 2,000 years ago, Seneca said, "It's not the man who has little, but the man who craves much, who is poor." Stoics taught that wanting less isn't about giving up life. It is about living freely. When all your happiness depends on what's outside, it becomes fragile. By reducing your wants to what's essential, you find something precious: peace. This isn't about scarcity, it's about clarity. What truly matters? What do you really need to live well? A Stoic doesn't shun comfort, but isn't owned by it. They appreciate what they have without being enslaved by what they don't. This shift in mindset is powerful. Instead of chasing more to be happy, you begin to see that happiness shows up when you stop chasing and start appreciating. To desire wisely is the first step toward a lighter mind and a freer heart. 3. Rational acceptance of the present. Amor fati. Love your fate. This core Stoic idea is both powerful and challenging. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote, "Whatever happens is natural, and what's natural cannot be bad." Rather than resist life, the Stoics invite us to accept it, not passively, but wisely. Acceptance isn't giving up, it's understanding. It's recognizing that some forces, death, illness, others' opinions, time, are beyond us. Suffering over them is useless. Rational acceptance teaches us to channel our energy into what we can influence: our choices, our actions, our present. It doesn't mean tolerating injustice, but it means seeing that fighting reality only deepens our frustration. What happens, happens. What you do with it defines your peace. Acceptance isn't surrender, it's freedom from despair. When you stop resisting the present, something shifts. You find stillness. And in that stillness, you realize happiness was never gone. It was just buried under your resistance. 4. Happiness resides in virtue. Imagine living so aligned with your values that praise doesn't inflate you and criticism doesn't crush you. For the Stoics, this steady, calm inner state is true happiness. Virtue isn't religious or abstract, it's action. It's doing the right thing, even when it's hard. It's the courage to act justly, the wisdom to admit mistakes, the moderation to avoid extremes. Seneca wrote, "Happiness is wanting what you already have and living in accordance with reason." A Stoic doesn't live for applause or rewards. They find fulfillment in being honest, just, and consistent. This produces a lasting joy, one that doesn't rely on perfect conditions. Unlike fleeting pleasures, virtue builds a peace that endures. And when you live by what is right, not what is easy, you unlock a happiness that's deeper, quieter, and entirely your own. Virtue is not decoration, it's the path. 5. Happiness is found in the process, not the outcome. We're obsessed with goals, the degree, the dream body, the perfect salary. But the Stoics warn that focusing solely on results leads to frustration. Why? Because outcomes are often beyond our control. What's within our control is effort, intention, and discipline. Epictetus said, "You are responsible for the effort, not the outcome." Stoic happiness begins here, doing your best, with integrity, right now, without being attached to the result. Imagine training hard, studying with discipline, acting honestly, and being at peace regardless of the outcome. That's not weakness, that's freedom. When you fall in love with the process, you discover meaning in every step. Often, the growth you gain along the way is more valuable than the destination itself. The Stoics teach us to cherish the effort, not just the trophy. And when living well matters more than winning, happiness quietly rises, steady, faithful, ever-present. 6. Other people's opinions don't define you. How many times have you held back because of what others might think? How many dreams, thoughts, or truths have you silenced to gain approval? The Stoics warned, the greatest prison is living according to others' expectations. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is madness to worry about the opinion of those who do not know what goodness is. The constant need for validation is a quiet thief of joy." When you live for others' approval, you drift from your essence. Stoic happiness is rooted in self-knowledge and inner consistency. A Stoic isn't arrogant, but neither are they shaped by every judgment. They ask, what is right, not what will they think. That emotional independence sets you free. It's like taking off a heavy backpack, the weight of needing to please. You begin to act authentically, speak clearly, choose decisively, and the joy that follows is grounded, light, and real, because you're finally being yourself. 7. Simplicity is the path to peace. We're drowning in excess. Too much information, too much stuff, too many obligations. And in the noise, we lose ourselves. The Stoics saw this clearly. For them, happiness lives in simplicity, not in lack, but in clarity. Seneca said, "Poverty lies not in the lack of things, but in the abundance of desires." When you simplify your schedule, your space, your mind, you begin to see that much of what felt essential was just distraction. A simple life is not an empty life. It's a clear one, free from clutter, pressure, and meaningless comparison. The Stoic values the essentials: good habits, honest relationships, quiet time, a peaceful mind. They understand that most things that matter can't be bought. Simplicity brings focus, presence, and gratitude. When you turn down the noise, you can finally hear what truly matters. And in that space, a gentle, steady joy arises, one not tied to achievement, but to presence. 8. A greater purpose, the joy of serving beyond yourself. Stoic happiness isn't selfish. While it starts within, it grows through connection, to the community, to nature, to the common good. The Stoics believed we're all part of something larger. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What isn't good for the hive isn't good for the bee." In other words, living only for yourself won't fulfill you. Real meaning and joy comes from being useful. When you live with purpose, teaching, helping, supporting, contributing, you tap into a happiness that's not flashy but deep. The ego wants pleasure. The soul wants meaning. A greater purpose gives weight to the hard days, humility to success, and dignity to your efforts. It doesn't have to be grand. It might be raising your kids, doing your job honestly, or listening fully to a friend. The happiness that flows from serving doesn't fade. It grows, because light shared becomes legacy. 9. Pain as a teacher, not an enemy. No one wants to suffer. But for the Stoics, pain isn't a mistake. It's part of growth. Seneca said, "Adversity reveals genius, prosperity conceals it." When things go well, it's easy to look wise. But hardship shows who we really are. The Stoics didn't seek pain, but they welcomed its lessons. Every loss, failure, or disappointment is a teacher. It's not about glamorizing suffering, but transforming it. Pain can harden you or shape you. The choice is yours. Face it with wisdom, and it won't break you. It will build you. You'll learn patience, humility, strength. True happiness isn't the absence of pain, but the ability to stay whole in the midst of it. That inner strength is forged in scars, not smiles. And the more you turn pain into wisdom, the freer you become. Because even pain now has purpose. 10. Inner freedom, the happiness no one can take away. We chase freedom, financial, emotional, creative. But the Stoics reveal a deeper kind of freedom, the kind no one can take from you. Epictetus lost everything, yet said, "They can chain my body, but not my mind." That's inner freedom. When you free yourself from ego, from the need to control, from the fear of judgment or failure, you access a peace the world can't offer. Real happiness isn't a life without problems, but a mind that remains free in the face of them. A Stoic can be anywhere, in power or in prison, and still keep their dignity and clarity. That freedom comes from choosing reason over impulse, principle over reaction. And once you have that, no one can steal it. Not fate, not failure, not fear. Because when you're free on the inside, you're truly unshakable. The journey has only just begun. If these Stoic principles stirred something in you, if they sparked even a flicker of insight, then know this: you've only just begun. Stoic philosophy is a deep well of clarity, resilience, and inner strength. And what we covered today is just the beginning. In upcoming videos, we'll explore how Stoicism can help you handle anxiety, make wise decisions, and build discipline even in hard times. This isn't theory, it's practical, powerful living, and you don't have to do it alone. This channel is a space for thoughtful growth, so if this resonated with you, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share it with someone else who's tired of surface-level solutions. True happiness isn't a destination, it's a path, and we're walking it together. See you in the next video.